Picture this. You're dating an absolutely stunning woman. She's smart, funny, magnetic, the kind of woman who turns every head the moment she walks into a room. You're proud to be seen with her. You treat her like the queen she is. You buy her flowers, take her on expensive dates, text her every morning just to remind her she's special. You're doing everything you were told a good man should do. But behind the scenes, something strange is happening. She's losing interest. Her texts are getting shorter. Her smile doesn't quite reach her eyes anymore. You can feel it. She's slipping away, and you have no idea why. Here's the uncomfortable truth most men refuse to accept. For a woman to genuinely love you, desire you, and stay loyal to you, she must never feel completely secure in your affection. She must never feel like she's figured you out, because the moment she feels like she completely owns your attention, the spark dies. Before you start thinking this sounds manipulative, listen closely. This isn't about playing games or being cruel. It's about understanding female psychology, the deep, ancient programming that drives attraction at a subconscious level. And once you understand this, you'll see why treating her too well can paradoxically destroy her attraction for you. Women are not logical when it comes to desire. They're biological. Every woman alive today is the product of millions of years of selective evolution. Back in our ancestral past, women who chose strong, capable, high-value men survived and passed on their genes. The ones who fell for weak, overly agreeable men didn't. Their bloodlines vanished. That instinct is still there, buried deep inside her subconscious mind. It's called hypergamy, the biological drive that makes women instinctively seek men of higher value than themselves. Not just financially or physically, but emotionally, socially, and psychologically. It's not something she chooses. It's hardwired into her DNA. When she senses that your value is lower than hers, even slightly, her attraction system starts to shut down. She might still love you as a person, but desire? That disappears quietly, almost invisibly, until one day you wake up wondering where it all went wrong. Now, this doesn't mean women are shallow or manipulative. It means their biology is ruthless. For hundreds of thousands of years, women had to choose men who could protect and provide, because choosing wrong wasn't just inconvenient, it was deadly. Pregnancy made her vulnerable. Raising children required massive resources. If she chose a man who couldn't handle danger, defend territory, or lead, she and her offspring could die. So evolution taught her something. Never settle for a man whose value feels equal or lower. Always reach upward. Always desire the man who challenges you, who commands respect, who doesn't give himself away easily. And that's where modern men get it wrong. You were told to be kind, patient, giving, and yes, those are wonderful traits in friendship and loyalty in love. But when you lead with them too early, when you smother her with affection before she's earned it, her subconscious labels you as safe. And safe doesn't equal sexy. Safe means predictable. Safe means known. Safe means boring. Attraction doesn't grow in comfort. It grows in tension. You can see this dynamic play out everywhere. The nice guy buys her flowers, texts her constantly, rearranges his plans just to please her, and gets ghosted. The bad boy shows up when he wants, stays a mystery, never explains himself, and she can't stop thinking about him. Why? Because her brain is addicted to uncertainty. The truth is, attraction isn't built on logic. It's built on contrast. The more predictable you are, the less her mind has to work. But when you're slightly unpredictable, when she's not entirely sure how you feel, when she has to wonder what you're thinking, her brain lights up like a Christmas tree. That uncertainty releases dopamine, the same chemical that drives addiction. She starts replaying your conversations in her head. She starts analyzing your texts. She starts chasing your validation without even realizing it. But the moment you give her total certainty, when you become an open book, always available, always complimenting, always saying yes, that chemical drop happens. The excitement fades. The emotional roller coaster flattens out. She stops chasing. And that's when men panic. They start doing more of what's not working. More affection, more reassurance, more effort. They double down on the behavior that killed the spark in the first place. And the harder they try, the faster she pulls away. It's not that she stopped liking you. It's that her biology no longer sees you as a challenge. You've become emotionally conquered. And women don't stay attracted to what they've conquered. So let's strip this down to the core. Women are attracted to perceived value, not just real value. You can have money, muscles, and status, but if your behavior communicates that you need her more than she needs you, your value drops instantly. I once knew a guy who was a high-powered attorney, good-looking, wealthy, confident in business. But in relationships, he transformed into a puppy. Constant texts, expensive gifts, endless validation. And every time, women lost interest within weeks. Then there was another guy, a bartender, broke, average-looking. But he had one thing the attorney didn't, an abundance mindset. He never acted like he needed any one woman. He'd flirt, tease, walk away mid-conversation if he felt like it. He wasn't rude, he just didn't chase. And that alone made women chase him. His perceived value skyrocketed because he carried himself like a man who had options. Women don't respond to how valuable you actually are. They respond to how valuable you believe yourself to be. That's the first hidden truth. Perception creates reality in attraction. You can't fake it for long. Women are biologically tuned to read your energy, your body language, your confidence. They pick up on tiny cues. How you react when she cancels plans, how quickly you text back, whether your tone sounds like a man in control or a man seeking approval. Every micro behavior tells her where you stand in the hierarchy. Here's what's wild. She doesn't even know she's doing this. It's instinct. It's subconscious. When she senses neediness, her body interprets it as danger. Not physical danger, genetic danger. Her DNA tells her, this man can't protect or lead me. His genes aren't dominant enough. And once that switch flips, there's no logic in the world that can turn it back. That's why nice guys can't understand what went wrong. They replay the relationship in their heads, saying, but I did everything right. Exactly. You did everything safe. And safe doesn't trigger desire. Let's talk about sexual market value, or SMV. Think of dating as a marketplace. Everyone has a perceived value based on appearance, social status, charisma, and behavior. And here's the harsh truth. Women are only truly attracted to men they perceive as being above them on that value scale. Now, that doesn't mean you need to be rich or famous. What it means is you need to radiate status energy. You need to live in a way that suggests you have options, that you're focused on purpose, that your life doesn't revolve around her approval. Every time you respond instantly to her text, drop plans to see her, or try to constantly prove how good you are, you're telling her she's the prize and you're the one competing. And once she believes that, the dynamic is over. The paradox of attraction is this. The more you try to win her, the faster you lose her. She doesn't want a man who's competing for her approval. She wants a man who already approves of himself. So what does this mean for you? It means stop overinvesting. Stop giving her what she hasn't earned. Stop putting her on a pedestal before she's proven she belongs there. You have to flip the dynamic. You are the prize. You are the mountain she climbs. You are the challenge that keeps her emotionally alive. When you internalize that, everything changes. You'll stop reacting and start leading. You'll stop chasing and start choosing. You'll stop trying to be liked and start being respected. That's the foundation of true attraction, not flowers or compliments or good morning texts. It's energy. It's the quiet power that says, I want you, but I don't need you. Because when a woman feels she can lose you, that's when she fights to keep you. You ever notice how, right when things start to feel good with a woman, she suddenly becomes distant? You start thinking, wait a minute, everything was going perfectly. We were laughing, connecting, texting all day. Now she's cold, distracted, different. You didn't change. You didn't do anything wrong. But something inside her flipped, almost like a switch you didn't know existed. That, right there, is the psychological game most men never learn how to see. And until you understand it, you'll always be stuck in confusion, thinking, what did I do wrong? When the real answer is, you did everything too right. Because here's the dark paradox about female desire. Women crave emotional security, but they're addicted to emotional tension. And that tension, that push and pull, is what keeps them locked into you mentally, emotionally, sexually. Let's break this down. When a woman first meets you, she doesn't just see you, she feels you. She's reading your energy before you even speak. The way you hold eye contact, the way you sit back instead of leaning in, the way your tone sounds when you're not trying to impress. Her subconscious is scanning you for one thing. Can this man emotionally lead me, or will I have to lead him? Because if she has to lead you, if she has to control the pace, the tone, the rhythm, her attraction dies faster than you can imagine. Now, in the beginning, she's curious. You're a mystery. You're unpredictable. Her mind is awake. Every text you send, every pause in your speech, every slight delay in your response. It keeps her brain chasing patterns, searching for meaning. This is what neuroscientists call the dopamine loop. Her brain releases dopamine when she anticipates your attention, not when she gets it. That means the moment you give her complete certainty, that loop breaks. You ever wonder why she's crazy about you at first, and then slowly fades after you get serious? It's not that she stopped liking you. It's that her addiction to you wore off. Because you removed the element of uncertainty that kept her emotionally hooked. This is why women say they want a nice guy, but chase men who challenge them. They don't consciously know why. They just feel more alive around men who create emotional contrast. That contrast, the feeling of never quite being sure, but always being drawn in, is the fuel of attraction. Let me show you how this works. Imagine two men. Man A treats her like a princess. He texts every morning, compliments her constantly, says yes to every plan she makes. Man B treats her with warmth, but keeps his center. He gives attention when he feels like it. He doesn't chase. Sometimes he takes hours to reply. Sometimes he says no. He's calm, unreactive, hard to read. Her logical mind tells her man A is perfect, reliable, loving, kind. But her body and her instincts crave man B. Why? Because her nervous system is addicted to emotional arousal, not comfort. She feels safe with man A, but she feels alive with man B. This isn't conscious manipulation, it's biology. It's how her emotional system evolved. The man who can handle her intensity without losing his center signals genetic superiority. He's unshakable. He doesn't need her energy to stay grounded. And that to her body screams strength. That's why when you start giving her too much, too fast, too often, she starts to withdraw. Not because she's cruel, but because your energy became too easy to predict. You gave her full access before she earned it. And in her subconscious, that kills value. The reason she pulls away is because her attraction system is wired to test your consistency. It's not personal, it's instinct. Women test to feel safe. They test to see if the version of you they fell for was real or just a performance. So she'll create distance. She'll delay responses. She'll seem colder. She'll start saying things like, I just need some space, or I don't know what I want right now. But behind those words is one question she's asking herself. Is he going to lose composure now? Because that's the real test. If you start chasing, blowing up her phone, asking what's wrong, trying to fix things, she instantly knows you're emotionally dependent on her validation. She's now in control, and the polarity collapses. But if you stay calm, if you let her pull back without reacting, something powerful happens. Her subconscious starts to panic because she expected you to chase. She expected you to crumble. But you didn't. You stay grounded. And that confuses her emotional system. Now she starts thinking, wait, why isn't he chasing me? Did he lose interest? Is he seeing someone else? And just like that, the dopamine loop restarts, but now she's the one chasing you. You've reversed the polarity. See, what most men don't realize is that attraction is an emotional economy. Every interaction is an exchange of energy. When you overinvest, she underinvests. When you underinvest, she overinvests. The goal isn't to manipulate that balance. It's to master your awareness of it. Because the truth is, you can't fake emotional control. You can fake confidence for a night. You can fake charm on a date. But you can't fake the kind of calm, grounded presence that only comes from internal abundance. A man with abundance doesn't need to chase because he knows that his worth isn't tied to any one woman. He's selective. He moves with intention. His attention is earned, not given. And women feel that deeply, instinctively. Now, here's where most men destroy this dynamic. They confuse detachment with disinterest. Being emotionally grounded doesn't mean being cold or ignoring her. It means you don't react to her emotions. You lead them. You remain warm but centered. You listen, but you don't beg. You care, but you don't cling. That subtle difference is everything. When a woman senses that your emotional center is unshakable, she starts to relax into her feminine. She stops fighting for control. She stops testing as much. Because now, she can trust your leadership. But if you start matching her emotional swings, if you get jealous when she pulls back, needy when she's distant, desperate when she's cold, you're signaling emotional weakness. You're telling her, without words, my stability depends on your attention. And once she feels that, she starts to lose respect. Here's the brutal truth. You can't talk your way into attraction. You can't explain or reason your way into her desire. You can only embody it. When she pulls away, your silence is more powerful than any argument. When she tests you, your composure is more seductive than any compliment. When she doubts you, your consistency is more magnetic than any promise. Because women don't fall for words, they fall for energy. Now let's take this deeper. Every woman carries a hidden pattern, a subconscious cycle of attraction and withdrawal. She gets close, feels emotional intensity, and then instinctively retreats to see if your presence remains stable without her input. It's not about you. It's about her emotional calibration. She needs to feel that your frame is stronger than her moods. If you fail that test, if you start chasing or complaining, her nervous system loses faith in your leadership. But if you remain calm, focused, and even playful during her withdrawal, she subconsciously reattaches, stronger than before. That's how emotional polarity works. Every withdrawal is an opportunity to re-establish dominance without aggression. And the men who understand this, they don't get ghosted. They don't beg for attention. They don't try to talk her out of pulling away. They simply allow space because they know that space creates gravity. You see, women crave men who are emotionally self-contained because those men can't be controlled. And what can't be controlled becomes endlessly fascinating. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter you grip, the more it slips away. But when you let it flow freely, it always returns to its level. That's what your energy must be: steady, patient, and certain. And here's something no one tells you. When she pulls away, it's not rejection, it's maintenance. Her system is testing whether your energy is truly strong or just situational. If she feels your presence remains solid, her body interprets that as safety and strength. That's when she begins to surrender, emotionally, sexually, spiritually. But if you collapse into panic or self-doubt, she senses weakness. And weakness to a woman's subconscious equals risk. So she pulls away even further, not to hurt you, but to protect herself from bonding with a man who can emotionally lead. That's the real reason she pulls away. It's not because you said the wrong thing or texted too soon. It's because your energy shifted from power to pursuit. You stopped being the man she admired and started being the man who needed her. So what's the antidote? It's not to play cold or pretend you don't care. That's amateur energy. The antidote is emotional sovereignty. It's the ability to hold tension without collapsing, to give affection without attachment, to stay grounded in your mission no matter how she behaves. Because when your purpose is stronger than your need for validation, you become irresistible. You become the storm she can't control and the calm she can't find anywhere else. And once she feels that, she will chase that energy forever. Because it's rare, it's masculine, it's magnetic. That's the psychological game. Not manipulation, but mastery. The mastery of your emotions, your energy, your frame. When you control your state, you control the dynamic. When you lead the emotional rhythm, she follows willingly, instinctively. And that's what creates unbreakable attraction. Because at the end of the day, she doesn't want a man who just loves her. She wants a man who anchors her. And that's the kind of man who never gets left behind. You know what's crazy? The moment you stop chasing her, she starts thinking about you. That silence, that space, it echoes louder than any text you ever sent. And suddenly, the woman who once seemed impossible to reach starts checking your profile again, replaying your last conversation, wondering, what happened to him? Why isn't he trying anymore? This is the shift every man needs to understand, the moment the power dynamic flips. Because when you stop needing her, she starts needing you. But this isn't about manipulation. It's about emotional gravity. The kind that can't be faked, can't be forced. It's something deeper. It's what happens when a man finally reclaims his center. Let's be honest. You've been trained your whole life to prove your worth. To text first, to call back, to explain yourself, to be the bigger man. But the truth is, the man who always proves himself is subconsciously telling her he doesn't believe he's enough. And the moment she senses that, she stops respecting you. Because women don't fall for words. They fall for energy. And your energy becomes magnetic when you finally stop auditioning for her approval. You ever notice how, after a breakup, the moment you let go, the moment you accept it's done, she suddenly resurfaces? It's not luck. It's not coincidence. It's emotional polarity. When you detach, your energy shifts from seeking to having. And women feel that. They feel it in the tone of your voice, in your posture, in your absence. They start asking themselves, wait, did he stop caring? Did I lose him? Did he find someone else? Now her brain, the same brain that once felt safe and in control, starts to panic. Because uncertainty is the spark of attraction. You've stopped giving her the emotional security she took for granted. And suddenly, you've become the one she can't predict. That unpredictability reactivates her desire. But here's the key. This only works if your detachment is real. You can't fake it. You can't act busy or ignore her on purpose. That's still reactive energy, and women can smell that from miles away. True detachment comes from power. It's the kind that says, I like you, but I don't need you. I care about you, but I'll never chase you. I'll give love, but I'll never trade my peace for your attention. That's when everything changes. Because now, you're not chasing her validation, she's chasing your presence. And here's the beautiful paradox. When you stop chasing women, you start attracting them. Because detachment signals abundance. It says, I have options. I have purpose. I have control. And nothing turns a woman's head faster than a man who lives like his life is already full. Let's dig deeper. What makes a man unforgettable isn't his looks, money, or charm. It's his emotional frame. It's the way he makes her feel when he's around, and even more when he's not. She remembers how calm you were when she tried to trigger you. She remembers how composed you stayed when she pulled away. She remembers how you smiled and said, take your time, when she tested you with silence. That moment burned into her mind, because it told her you weren't like the others. Every other guy folded under pressure. But you remained still. And that stillness is what haunts her. That's the power shift. The transformation from being the man she controls to being the man she can't forget. See, women don't obsess over men who love them unconditionally. They obsess over men who make them feel something real. And nothing feels more real than a man who embodies calm strength, who gives love freely, but never loses himself in it. You become the mirror she can't look away from, because through you, she sees her own chaos reflected. You're no longer playing her emotional game. You've transcended it. You've become the frame, the steady ground beneath her waves. Now, every time she dates someone new, she compares him to you. Every time she laughs with another guy, it feels a little emptier. Every time she tries to move on, she feels that invisible pull back toward the man who never begged for her energy. You've become the ghost in her mind, the standard, the calm, the one she still dreams about, even when she's smiling in someone else's arms. Because deep down, every woman remembers the man who didn't need her. He's the one who stood out from the noise, the one who had a life before her and would have one after, the one who never traded dignity for attention. That's how you become the man she never gets over. Not by chasing, not by convincing, but by becoming so emotionally complete that her presence adds to your life, not defines it. Now let's talk about the mindset behind that power. When a man has purpose, when he's obsessed with building his world, not seeking comfort in someone else's, he radiates something women can't resist: certainty. And certainty is the rarest energy in today's world. Every man is chasing approval. Every man is bending to trends, desperate for validation. Every man is afraid of being alone. But not you. You've learned the secret most men never do. Solitude isn't punishment, it's power. Because when you master solitude, you become immune to manipulation. You stop begging for love because you are love. You stop chasing validation because you validate yourself through growth. That's what makes you powerful, and that's what makes women obsessed. The world tells men to chase, but the real alpha doesn't chase. He chooses. He chooses peace over chaos, purpose over distraction, self-respect over validation. And that's what makes you unforgettable. You become a mystery, not because you're playing games, but because you've evolved past them. She can't read you anymore because your emotions aren't dictated by her attention. That's when she starts working for your energy. She'll reach out just to check in. She'll post things hoping you'll notice. She'll bring up old memories to reopen the loop. Because deep down, she's searching for the feeling she lost, the feeling of earning you. And the more she tries to reclaim it, the more obsessed she becomes. You're not her fantasy anymore. You're her fixation. That's the ultimate power shift. And here's what's ironic. When you reach this level, you don't even want to use it. You stop playing games. You stop seeking validation. You just exist, calm, confident, centered. And women feel it. They feel it in your silence, in your absence, in the way you look at them without needing anything in return. You become rare. And in a world built on insecurity, rarity becomes addiction. That's why the men who master detachment always win in the long run. Because they're not chasing women, they're attracting respect. And once you have her respect, everything else, her attention, her desire, her loyalty, follows effortlessly. Because desire can fade, but respect never does. And that's what she'll remember about you, long after the conversations stop and the texts go unread, that you were the man who never lost himself trying to please her. The man who walked away when the energy wasn't right. The man who could love deeply, but never desperately. The man who didn't just make her feel wanted, he made her feel safe. That's what women crave more than anything. Safety inside masculine certainty. When you embody that, you stop being another chapter in her story. You become the story she can't stop rereading. So from this point forward, stop chasing, stop proving, stop begging to be seen. Start building, start growing, start embodying the kind of man who doesn't need to be remembered because he's impossible to forget. Because the truth is, when you become the man who can stand alone, you become the man every woman secretly hopes to meet. And when she finally does, she'll know exactly what she lost. Studio microphone, if this hit you deep, subscribe to Psyche Decoded. Because understanding women isn't about learning tricks. It's about mastering yourself. And once you do that, no woman will ever see you the same again.